How many of you do not have my Work for Equity course? Do not have it. Okay, how many of you do have it? All right, let me see. 4 of you don't have it. 8 of you do have it. And there's about 80 people in the room. So let me ask this one more time. How many of you do not have it? Okay, how many of you just don't know if you have it or not? You got so many courses you don't know anymore, huh? Well, look, when we get a house, whether it be bank-owned, or whether it be a lease option, or whether it be a subject to, the last thing I want to do is renovate it. And of course, I'm not going to renovate a lease option. Scott, how many bank-owned properties have we bought in, say, the last 30 days?
We've closed on 6 in the last 30 days.
Okay, how many of those have we renovated?
We did one minor renovation.
That was only because we had to, or we'd have never found a buyer, right?
Right.
Okay. And what did we do to that house? Because you talked me into it.
It was a very ugly pink color on the outside.
Yeah.
So we painted the outside, did some minor touch-ups on the
How
inside.
much did we spend on that house?
Oh gosh, $1,200 bucks.
$1,200?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not a renovation. But, hey, as far as I'm concerned, that's a renovation, all right? And that's the only one we've renovated?
Yeah.
Okay, and during this time, how many of them have you tried to get me to renovate?
A couple.
And what was my answer?
No.
All right. And why do you guys think I answered that? No. You listen to me, and you take mental note and you take physical note of this. Every time you start plowing money into renovations on properties is when you start losing money. When you buy properties, you need to understand that there's a whole subculture of people out there that would be loved to move into that property, as is, where is, if you lease option it to them and give them time to go get it fixed and then get a loan with their money. Their money, notice that part, their money. Scott, the house that we just closed on a couple days ago, it needs about $15,000 in work, doesn't it?
Yep.
And celery?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What did we pay for that house?
32.
And what's it worth, renovated?
125.
And how many people do you have wanting to lease option that property from you right now as we sit here?
We have 5.
5. As is, where is?
And actually, I just, after we got back, I went into the car and called the one application, and we bumped him up 10 grand on the price, and he took it.
He took it?
Yeah, he took
okay.
it.
Good. At lunch, Scott and I had this conversation. This guy wants us to accept $600 a month rent, and I told Scott, I haven't done that since 1985. Huh? This is 2012. Last time I looked. I said, you go back and tell him that I'll take his $600 a month rent if we raise the price $10,000. So is that what he took?
Yep, yeah. He took it.
Remember, that $600 is for 1 year.
Yeah, I know. He knows.
So I'm going to give him $200 a month in less rent. He's going to give me $10,000. Now, that kind of ought to tell you the magnitude of the person we're dealing with here, huh? He'd rather, I assume that he's going to buy the house, or he wouldn't be giving us how much cash?
He's only putting $2,500 up.
Yeah, but the house needs $15,000 worth of work. I mean, this house is really in piss poor condition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
It's rough, yeah.
Yeah, so he's taking it as is, where is, and he's still giving us $2,500 plus the first month rent, plus the attorney's fee, and I'm going to sacrifice my $800 minimum rent on this thing for the $600 that he wants to pay for a whole year, and just live with it. But we raised the price $10,000 on him to do it. His choice. And I always like to give them choices. Let them decide. Okay, so anyway, what's the point of this conversation? Will you guys get out of the renovation mode? Get out of the renovation mode. Let the buyers renovate. They love this. Now, here's the reality too. This house worth $120 repaired. We're selling the thing for the guy, what, 79.9?
Yeah.
As is? Come
Yeah.
on, guys, I paid 32,000 for it. 32,000, is that not good enough? Huh? But that's assuming he buys. You know the chances of him buying? About as good as me getting skinny.
The Home Depot was created for the homeowner, you know,
Yeah?
not for us.
Yeah. That's right. They need this project.
That's right.
Correct, to stimulate their life, don't they, John?
That's
Yeah,
true.
because they love Home Depot and Lowe's. All right, so anyway, I don't even know what brought all that up, but get the property, pretty or ugly, put it on the market, let the market come in, and work for equity is all about discounting the price some and letting them do the work. The truth is, I don't really care what the sales price is, because not more than 20% of the time are they actually going to go to closing, unless I force the issue and beat them and get their credit cleaned up and do all that back end work. In my business, I don't care if they buy or not. In your business, maybe you do. Maybe you want them to cash out so you can pay the taxes. Your choice. I don't. I want the golden goose keep laying the golden eggs. So I don't really care what the price is, because I know there's a little chance they're going to buy it anyway. So I'll let them negotiate me way down to get in cheap. All right. Payments current in poor condition, you're going to have to decide, do I want to lease it? Do I want to take it subject to? And what if it's free and clear, though, and it's in poor condition? Well, now you got all the flexibility in the world. In fact, I imagine that's kind of one of my favorite kind of deals, because the fact that it's in poor condition just gives me a license to go in there and name whatever terms I want to name. Not only am I going to get it cheap, but I'm going to get a really low monthly payment. I'm going to get several months before I even start making payments, and I'm going to get in with little or nothing down. In other words, I see the reason the seller is going to be very flexible with me. I got a house that's in poor condition. Incidentally, guys, do people with free and clear houses have to go through the same process of selling a house as those with debt on them? They're no easier to sell just because there's no debt on them. So they have the same problems. And here you come along and figuring out a creative solution to get the house sold and get it off their back, especially when it's in poor condition. People who have houses that are free and clear and in poor condition apparently don't have the money to fix them, or they'd already be fixed. Or they don't want to fix them. So you take them as is, where is. Okay, payments in arrear, poor condition. If it's got very little equity, it's probably a time waster. And it might be a short sale candidate, and we'll discuss that. If it's in a lot of equity and the payments in arrear, then you might want to take it subject to, make up the payments when you put tenant buyer in, or you might want to just short sale it. If it's got no equity, it's absolutely a time waster. So anyway, every deal that comes at you is going to fall into one of those slots. And it's way more complicated than it just sounded. I mean, it's less complicated than it just sounded. It just sounded complicated. But it's a lot less complicated than it sounds, as you'll see when we actually start going through them.